This diagram illustrates the absolute law of magic on the Discworld. On the left, we have witchcraft, earthy, subtle, and strictly reserved for women. On the right, separated by a solid, unyielding barrier, sits wizardry, cosmic, geometric, and entirely male. These disciplines operate on entirely different mechanical principles. Notice how the witch's sphere circulates roots and organic shapes, pulling power from psychology and the natural world. The wizard sphere burns with sharp mathematical lines and cosmic fire, demanding years of intense academic study and complex geometry. That rigid binary collapses with a 9-year-old girl named Esk. By a stroke of fate, she possesses a genuine wizard staff, and it is causing her latent magical abilities to lash out wildly. Esk's existence contradicts every rule the magical establishment relies on. A female wizard is an impossibility in this system, meaning her very presence threatens to dismantle their entire hierarchy. When Esk approaches a high-ranking wizard named Treadle for instruction, she hits a solid wall of tradition. Treadle dismisses her outright, claiming that a female brain would simply overheat if exposed to high magic. Repressing raw power has violent physical consequences. While she sleeps, Esk's subconscious fury catalyzes her wizard magic, heating a solid rock cliff face until it melts into a glowing, glassy pool. Uncontrolled, leaking magical energy acts as a cosmic beacon. It attracts the attention of the dungeon dimensions, a parasitic realm of horrors that feed on raw, undisciplined magic. Esk has to learn to control her abilities before they destroy her and anyone nearby. Yet the only people qualified to teach her refuse to open their doors. Left to her own devices on the journey to the capital, Esk relies on practical intelligence. She learns by doing, eventually bending the very fabric of reality itself to teleport her heavy staff directly into her waiting hand. The establishment's ideal candidate looks completely different. In this split portrait, Esk survives the rugged wilderness on the left. On the right, Treadle's prized male apprentice, Simon, sits buried under towering stacks of complex magical tomes. Simon is theoretically brilliant, capable of imagining entire magical constructs, but in practice, he stutters severely, suffers from constant allergies, and is entirely unable to cope with the physical world. The university gatekeepers celebrate a boy who cannot function in reality, while completely shunning a girl who commands the physical world instinctively. Behind Esk, a desperate rescue mission is underway. Her mentor, Granny Weatherwax, a witch of terrifying pragmatic power, is racing to catch her before Esk's wild magic triggers a disaster. Granny's dwarf-repaired broomstick relies purely on nocturnal magic, flying strictly within the rotating planet's dark zone. If it touches sunlight, it plummets. To survive, Granny does the impossible, accelerating dramatically to outpace the advancing Terminator line of sunlight itself. She pushes past all normal boundaries of witchcraft, rushing over dark mountains at terrifying speeds, with the blinding crest of dawn chasing at her heels. Wild, untrained wizardry and extreme rule-breaking witchcraft are now hurtling straight toward the ultimate magical authority. At the Unseen University, the highest authorities of magic gather to welcome their new prodigy, Simon. Simon attempts a very simple demonstration spell. Instead, his theoretical mind generates a massive, recursive holographic map of the universe, tearing the fabric of reality right in the room. Through that tear, buzzing, invisible cosmic horrors flood the hall. The esteemed wizards, paralyzed by the failure of their academic theories, freeze entirely in a state of shock. When high theoretical magic fails catastrophically, crude practical action succeeds. Esk steps up and simply kicks Simon in the ankle, breaking his concentration and snapping the tear shut. Despite Esk saving the entire room, Arch-Chancellor Cutangle laughs directly in her face. He cites the absolute law of the university. Women cannot be wizards, no matter what they just achieved. Esk doesn't cry. She doesn't argue. She channels a focused, absolute anger. She aims her glowing hand squarely at the towering stone statue of the university's revered founder. Looking the Arch-Chancellor in the eye, she tells him to watch her. While Esk prepares for a frontal magical assault, Granny Weatherwax has already infiltrated the impenetrable university. Instead of breaking down the gates, she uses simple psychological manipulation on the laundry staff to quietly slip through the back door. True power does not ask for permission. When the establishment locks the front gate, you either blow it off its hinges or you quietly walk right through the back.